Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks Live. Hi Stephanie, how you doing? It's early Saturday morning. I've got to go to work in about an hour, or start getting ready to anyway. But Jeff 7, what's up, dude? Glad to see y'all here. I was thinking earlier about how it was back when we were kids, and we find like a piece of plywood or something. You know what I'm saying? We'd find something like that, anything, a doorknob, just some kind of something somebody thrown away, or some kind of building material or something that wasn't being used, and we would use our imaginations. Find a piece of scrap plywood that wasn't too rotted away, and I would see a door to my fort or something, or a ramp to jump, using our imaginations. And I think that is gone away today. Kids don't use their imaginations anymore. Everything's already prefabricated for them on the internet. The imagination's already been used up, all that stuff is being done for them. What's up, Lake? How's it going, buddy? Glad to see you here, man. Glad y'all could make it. But what do y'all think about just the fact that the use of imagination is going away, and we even see it in the media with just the rehashing of the movies, like just redoing old movies and even old TV shows, and by and large, when they do that, they're crap, right? When they redo an old TV show. Now, when they do actually, someone does take some initiative and use their imagination and come up with something new, the odds of it being good go up dramatically. Look at the John Wick movies. Now, that wasn't a rehash. Nobody done that stuff before. It was a really cool new premise for a set of movies, and I really like those movies. And almost every movie that I like that has come out within the last 20 years has been like that. It's been a new property, a new idea, a new story, instead of the rehashing, like the remake of Red Dawn and the remake of Can't Buy Me Love and all that stuff. Those are all, they're not done well, and it's not because those were teenage teenage movies, because I can still go back and watch the old ones, and they're still really good. I like them. They're good movies. But the rehashes, the remakes, there's no real connection to the story, because they didn't come up with the story. They're just trying to update what somebody else already did. So there's no real connection to it. They didn't create it. They're just kind of trying to polish it up and redo it for the new generation or whatever. Yeah, Jeff. The imagination is like common sense these days, uncommon. Yeah, you're right about that. But and I just think that's sad, because that was so much fun. Always getting new stuff presented to us, movies, video games. And look at the video games are probably the worst of it. They're like Call of Duty. What are they on now? Like number 67 or something on Call of Duty. They just keep remaking that game and updating the graphics and putting a different coat of paint on it and throwing it out there, and everybody clamors for it and buys, 60, 70 million copies of it, whatever this stupid shit is. AF, what's going on? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you showing up and putting a comment in. Yeah, we'll see about that, about what AI has to contribute to it, Lake. Good morning, Trip. What's going on, buddy? Glad to see you here. No, fort out of a canopy bed? That'd be cool. That'd be cool, Stephanie. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, AF, that video I did about the future being stupid. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good song, wasn't it? But no, no, they are not. You're right about that. Uh, but I just think about that, the things that have changed from, from the time when we were kids and teenagers until now. Uh, I really didn't see, even I've said this before, that me and my buddy we play video games for a couple hours or so there, you know, and then we would go outside and play. Uh, we weren't addicted to them like today, and all this MMO shit and whatever. And even I have tried to play MMOs. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not a big gamer anymore. I used to like to play video games, but the whole, that online thing with millions of players on there and doing all kind of that part of it uh, never did attract me. It wasn't the fun part of it. All the people running around. I get, maybe I was just accustomed to playing single player and maybe playing with a friend, one or two players at the most. Maybe I was just accustomed to that. But you get on there and some of these games and everybody's running all over the place and shit, and I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. But I can see the attraction for the younger kids who never leave the house. Once you look at the whole thing, they never leave the house. All their friends are online, but not compared to the way we grew up and everything that's been lost. And that's the thing, that the kids don't realize what's been lost. They have no idea what they're missing out on, how awesome it is to go out and play with your friends and go out and explore the world when they're exploring this digital world instead. Robbie Reese, what's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. Glad you could make it. R. Snyder, what's up? Yeah, yeah, Robbie. That's just the way I've always played with single player. Like I said, I've tried those MMOs and stuff, or massive multiplayer. Yeah, I've tried those, but they never really did. Even when I played the MMOs, like I played World of Warcraft for a while, and I would play that shit solo. I played a hunter I had a wolf or something, and I would just go out and ambush higher level characters, wait for them to come running down the trail, and then I'd sick my wolf on them. And when they started fighting my wolf, I'd jump up and start shooting them with arrows. I wouldn't do it to lower level players, but I'd always punch up. But I would just do that, ambush the enemy on my own, and that shit was pretty cool. But still, I played it solo, a massive multiplayer game, and I just play it by myself. Oh, yeah, that's just how I rolled when I did play that kind of stuff. But yeah, a lot of the times they don't really give you that kind of option, to play it by yourself. So, but yeah, just a lack of imagination today, and it's really weird when you think about it, with all of this technology and all these wonderful worlds you can go visit and all this, in on this online digital space, but there's no imagination, right? It's all crap. There's no real imagination. Look at the buildings being built today compared to the ones in the 1700s, the cathedrals and the beautiful carvings and everything they had back then, and all our shit now is bland and sterile. It just, the imagination has gone away and has been going away for a while. It's not like we were building wonderful cathedrals in the 80s, but it's really obvious now when you look at Gen X compared to these younger kids, and just how we interacted with the world, and how these kids don't interact with the world at all until they grow up and they get forced to go get jobs. So that's kind of disappointing, I would say, and I kind of feel bad for the younger generations, because they're raised in a society that does not reward that kind of stuff. You're not rewarded for having a good imagination and for thinking outside the box. You're rewarded for staying in the box and doing what everyone else is doing, and clamoring and clapping for whatever everyone else is clamoring and clapping for. So that's just society at large. That's not a parenting thing or a school thing. It's an everything thing. And as far as parenting goes, you don't want your kid to get in trouble all the time. You don't want your kid to be the troublemaker and all that. So you want your kid to conform in a way, but in another way, you want your kid to be a free thinker. So I don't know. That's a tough decision that parents are in today, or a tough situation rather. But that's kind of what I was thinking about earlier. Just how imagination in society as a whole, it's just kind of evaporating, right? It's sad to see that all these kids, they miss out on so many great things and great movies and great experiences. Look at it. Okay, in the 70s and 80s and stuff, heavy metal came out, right? Rap music came out, grunge music came out, punk rock came out. I mean, we were coming up with shit that had never been heard before, never been done before. Now, since 2000, what the hell? Name a new genre of music that's come out. Can anybody, except some digital toilet shit, skibbity whatever? You know what I mean? What the hell? Where did that go? Where did all this creational energy go? See, your mom taught you to forge your name. That's awesome. That is hardcore Gen X there. Yeah. Yeah, I actually used to do the same thing with my dad. I'd forge my dad's name. Yeah, he did the exact same thing with me. I had to sit down but I would do the driving. He had a couple of DUIs, and he didn't have a driver's license. I actually tell a story about how I got caught by the cops. I got pulled over by the cops one time in an earlier video I did last year, and they let me go. And I told them I don't have a driver's license. But yeah, same thing. I had to go do all the grocery shopping and do all the banking at the age of about 13, 14. Yeah. Oh yeah, like I can see that imagination being medicated. Oh yeah, totally. If you have an imagination, you'll be thought of as ill, mentally ill. So, but yeah, that whole thing, nothing new is being made anymore. And well, I can't say nothing because, like I said, they come out with the John Wick movies and stuff. But I just heard they're gonna redo the entire Harry Potter series of movies and update that for Gen Z. You know what I mean? This kind of shit. It's just, I don't know. It's sad to see this kind of stuff, the way everything is going. What the hell, you know? It just, these kids, they don't have anything to call their own. What can they call Call of Duty their own? You know what I mean? What is that? You know, how do you do that? How do you, what they call TikTok their own? And they're all just copying each other and on these bullshit social media platforms and trying to one up each other, right? And they'll just do disgusting shit on there to try to get, rubberneck views, like car accident, looking at a car accident kind of views. And that's some weird behavior there, but it's rewarded. It's rewarded. You get 10,000 views because you did some really disgusting shit on your video, or you did some really weird shit on your video. So that kind of stuff is not healthy for the kids. It can't be, can it? They're not making anything. They're just doing more and more, inappropriate stuff. The more inappropriate you can be, the more, the better you are, or whatever. The more likes and clicks and shares you get. Raziel, what's up? Yeah, no, they're redoing the Harry Potter stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the Clockwork Orange treatment, Jeff 7, yeah. Yep. Yeah, the Cuckoo's Nest, yeah. Yeah, I love that movie, by the way, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Robbie. Stupidity is applauded now. The just the more ridiculous you are, the more outlandishly ridiculous you are and stupid you are, the more clicks and views you get. And they my wife will show me shit once in a while on those short videos that I'm just like, what the hell is that? Oh, these kids are doing this now. Okay, whatever. And I have a hard time understanding how that shit can get popular and draw people's attention, like someone just eating disgustingly, or just shit like that, just stupid, inappropriate shit, being as inappropriate as possible. And but at the same time, these kids, they think they're rebelling. They're like tricked. They're psyoped into thinking that all this weird shit is rebellion when they're supporting the mainstream. They're in line with the mainstream with all this mainstream shit, anti-American, Australian or Norwegian or whatever, patriotic and pro-globalist shit and all this weird stuff that's going on. They're for all that, but they think they're rebelling against the system. And they've been tricked into thinking that the patriarchy is their main enemy. You know what I mean? Like just working dudes going out and trying to take care of their family. That's their enemy. Some guy over in Montana going to work, turning wrenches in a garage is our worst enemy of the people of the United States. Come on, man. That kind of shit is crazy. Oh, okay. 1760-ish. Oh, that would be cool. AF. JP, what's up, dude? Glad you're here, man. Yeah, Forrest Gump. Yeah, Robbie. Yeah. But yeah, I see all of this. Everything's being turned into this generic gray crap, right? From our nationality, we're importing the third world into all countries of Western civilization. We're gonna lose our culture. We're already losing some countries are already losing their culture to it in a big way. We're losing all originality, all free thought, all inspiration. It's all just turning into this milky, pasty, flavorless bullshit, right? Nothing really cool is coming out. It would be so awesome if some young kids would come out with a really hardcore new genre of music or something, or they would come out with some really cool movies or any damn thing. But it's like their imagination's being sucked out of them by the internet, I think, and that's my opinion. Like the internet's just a brain sucker, sucking all their imagination out of them and their will to do anything that's not online, do anything in the real world. Do kids go to their buddy's garage and hammer out some tunes anymore, Bill and Ted style? Is that even a thing anymore? Do they do that? I haven't heard the term garage band in a long time, except for there's an app on Apple or something called GarageBand, but other than that, you just don't hear about that shit anymore. It's all just online. Everything is online now, and I don't know. I don't like it. I honestly, I don't like that shit. Life isn't in some digital space like that. It can't be. Life is out here in the real world. What the hell else is life? And that stuff is just, oh yeah, Robbie, yeah, the UK, yeah, y'all are probably have it the worst for whatever reason, but we've got it pretty bad over here too, along with Australia. I could run down the list of Western civilization countries that are getting overrun with illegal immigration. Well, legal and illegal depends on what country you're in and how your immigration laws are. But here in America, they're illegal. They come over here. And that's another thing that, younger people tend to, not all of them, a lot of them tend to support that immigration thing, right? And they don't understand that they're supporting the big companies, billion-dollar companies. Del Monte, Tyson, these companies like this, they want these illegal immigrants here so they can pay dirt wages to have their chickens harvested and their apples harvested and shit like this, right? They don't want to cut into their billion-dollar profits and pay an American a living wage. That's point blank. That's what it boils down to. Follow the money. All right? But they're tricked into thinking that them supporting illegal immigration is them fighting the system. Okay? They're completely manipulated and brainwashed into the reverse thinking. They're not helping the common person. They're not fighting, raging against the machine by supporting illegal immigration. They're playing right into Del Monte's hands. Del Monte is the one who wants these people over here, not Joe Blow from Kokomo. Not your mechanic, not your chef working at. These illegal immigrants are dragging down our wages and erasing our culture. And the CEO of Tyson doesn't give a shit about our culture. He's got his chalet in France or wherever. He doesn't give a shit about the common person's culture down on the streets of America. Doesn't give a shit. But these kids, they're so brainwashed into believing the exact opposite of the truth and fighting for it. Polyphia? Raziel? Okay. All right. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, turkey's voting for Christmas. Yeah, Robbie. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That crap trip with the EU and the UN and all that, WEF, the WHO, they should all be dismantled. All that stuff was supposed to promote world peace and world health. We've had more war and more sickness since they've been established. We just need to get rid of that shit as a world population. Just dismantle that shit. Yeah, that's my opinion. Yeah, Robbie, that's exactly their motto. You will own nothing and be happy. The only problem I have with that, I don't think they honestly uh, hope for us to be happy with nothing. If I could be happy with nothing, I would. Shit, I'd take it. Yeah, to make me happy. But they don't give a shit whether we're happy with it or not. We're just going to own nothing. I would chop off the happiness part. You will own nothing. Period. Whether you're happy or not with it, they don't care. Uh, I don't know. I think AF. I think modern bullies. I think that's just now those have evolved into the online trolls. They take that uh, energy, whatever, that negative energy, and they put it online now and troll people and threaten people online and all that. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, AF. Yeah, I totally believe that. Our country medical system functioned without Medicaid or Medicare until 1964. Yeah, there's so much of that stuff, AF, that's surprising to people when they find out. We didn't have income tax for the first 150 years of our. How could our country survive without income taxes? Well, it survived on tariffs. That's how the government survived. That's how the government paid its bills. They couldn't expand the government, right? They had to keep the federal government constrained within whatever they could collect from tariffs. Not only did that keep us from paying income taxes, but it kept the government small, the way it's supposed to be. Now, what's up, Chaz? Now, since that federal bank was that privately owned Federal Reserve was instituted, and the just started lending our government all the money it wanted, well, the government could just balloon out, into what we have today. This disgusting monstrosity, overreaching bullshit that we have today. And there's a lot of that people don't understand that for a long time throughout history we didn't have that. But now we're convinced that we can't live without it. We can't live without Medicare. We can't live without Medicaid. How was that possible? How was that? Because it's been twisted by financial, institutions and the medical industry and stuff by billionaires and billion-dollar corporations into this thing that now we think we need. It could have very easily gone a different way. Doctors could still be making house calls and delivering babies at people's homes. Why not? Give me one reason why not. It happened in the 1800s, so why not? When we have all this technology now, but we're not getting any healthier. You know, it's not like people are 100 times healthier than they were in the 1800s. Yeah, our trauma stuff is way beyond what they could. You know, they couldn't save somebody with 3 gunshot wounds back in the 1800s. I'll grant you that. But there's a lot of that stuff. And hey, good morning, April. Oh, okay. All right, AF. Yeah, see that kind of stuff. It's still possible. It's just that we branched off in one direction instead of the other. We could have very easily gone the other way with our technology, with our money, with our resources. We could have gone another way and made us. But what a decision was made to go after profits or go after, you know, actual caring for people in the food industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, in the health, in every industry. And they always choose profits, always 100% of the time. Never do they say, okay, you know, what's best for the people. You know, let's go this direction. Social media. Should we keep our profits, you know, and just be billionaires, or should we start tracking people and you know, selling their information and be multi-billionaires? Well, let's be multi-billionaires. You know, should I start putting this shit in their food, you know, and increase my profits by 0.03% next year, or, you know, just keep giving them healthy food and maintain my profits, you know? Well, my buddy Joe Billionaire over there, he's increasing his profits by 0.02%. So I got to beat him. So I'm going to go ahead and put this shit in their food. That, you know, and that's just human nature. That's just common sense to me. That's the way it happens. And it could go the other way. It could have gone the other way. Because if they can feed everybody, there were a lot of people on the planet in 1980, and they were feeding everybody with normal, healthy food. You know, I mean, not all of it was healthy, but it was a lot healthier than it is today. A lot less chemicals in our food, but they decided to go the other way, start spraying, you know, what is that, Roundup on everything or whatever. So, yeah, that shit. And they always choose profits over their customers' well-being, always. And that's just an obvious thing to me. You know what I mean? Because I see it over and over and over again in every single industry. It's including our government. You know, our government sells us out every chance they get, throughout history anyway. Hopefully that's changed now. We'll see. Only time is going to tell. We're going to look back, you know, in 10 years, we're going to look back at Trump's administration and say, you know, whether it was good or bad. Right now, in the middle of it, with these decisions he's making, it's hard to tell. Oh yeah, Raziel, it's pure greed. Yeah, Trip, that's exactly true. Every dollar that leaves never comes back. Yeah, nobody was allergic to peanut butter, Chaz. I don't remember any of my friends having all these peanut allergies and shit. I don't remember all my friends on medication. I don't remember any of that stuff. And there's a reason I don't remember it, because it didn't happen. No, we weren't allergic to everything. We weren't you know, constantly going to see a therapist and getting prescriptions and stuff. Number one, I'm not going to speak for everybody's parents, but my parents, if I did dare to, let's just say, pretend for a second that I was feeling emotionally something and I went and told my parents, number one, they wouldn't want to hear it. My parents, I don't want to hear that shit. Get the hell outside and play. If they did, listen to me. You know what I'm saying? If they were completely bored out of their skulls and it was, they had canceled today's episode of General Hospital or something, they had nothing else to do, so they listened to me. They weren't going to take their time to take me to a therapist or a doctor and get me some kind of medication. That was not going to happen. So, and I don't think that most of my friends that I had, that their parents were much different than mine because they spent all their time outside with me. So, yeah, just that fact alone, that the parents back then really didn't give a shit. They didn't care enough to take you to the doctor and to see what's emotionally going on inside you and to all this shit. And so that tells me right there, we weren't all on medications and all this other shit. I don't remember kids carrying around EpiPens and none of that crap. I never remember any of my friends accidentally eating anything and getting sick. Not once. My entire childhood did I see a kid accidentally eat some peanut butter and go into convulsions or whatever. Start having a what is that, anaphylactic shock or whatever. That never happened. Not once in my experience. Now, I might be wrong. Maybe all of y'all experienced that shit multiple times. I never did. Never saw it. Not one kid, ever. Not in the lunchroom, in the cafeteria, never. Anywhere. So, yeah, something is wrong. Something has gone in a direction to change, the kids and their health, their immune system, whatever. Yeah, yeah, Raziel. Well, that's one thing about it, that if you build a better mousetrap now, and you're, let's see, and you start promoting that, and it comes into awareness, then these big multi-billion dollar conglomerates, if that threatens them, then maybe you decide that life isn't worth living anymore and you self-terminate. Maybe they just buy you out. Maybe they just offer you so much money, which is just a speck off of a crumb off of their loaf of bread, but it's so much money to you that you cannot turn it down. They'll just they'll just buy you out or whatever, or they'll do a media campaign and completely discredit you and ruin your life. I've seen these kind of stories, where the person is just completely discredited and his life is ruined because they do this shit. So yeah, these multi-billion dollar companies, they just come down, they just squash all competition through any means necessary. So even if you do build a better mousetrap nowadays, you're still screwed. You're really wasting your time, depending on where you are, what industry you're in. But when you get up to a certain level, and there's a prime example is with that Chat GPT, OpenAI. Now, it's called OpenAI because they were open at first. It was supposed to be open source. And Elon Musk actually sued them because once they got up there and Microsoft started giving them billions of dollars and all these different companies started giving them billions of dollars, they basically bought that CEO. And he completely changed it and made it closed and, went in a different direction with it and basically sold out to the technocracy, and Elon Musk sued him over it. I never found out what happened. Oliver, what was that? Burst? What's up, dude? Yeah, serve peanut butter sandwiches at school, April. Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, now they can't do that in case of allergies. You're absolutely right. Cybo Man. Lead paint and lawn darts build character. Yeah. I still got scars from the lawn darts. Yeah. Me and my brother, we We had our fun with those. Yeah, Cybo man. Jarts. Yep. Oliver Rust. What's up? Welcome to the show, Cybo man and Oliver Rust. Glad to see y'all here. Vintage. Evening, Vintage. I just woke up and I'm about to go to work. Y'all down there in Australia on the other side of the world, I don't know about y'all. Going to bed at the wrong time and shit. Where's Metal Gear Punisher? Oh, there he is. What's up, Metal Gear? Glad to see you here, man. Yeah, when you look into that stuff, and all these huge corporations, they do that. They either destroy or buy out competition. Microsoft went on a run of just scooping up huge, I mean, ginormous companies, right? Just huge companies in their own right, billion-dollar companies, and Microsoft would just scoop them up, right? And then the government makes a show and makes the Microsoft CEO go sit in front of Congress for a couple minutes and answer some questions, and they're clamping down on anti-trade or whatever. They're trying to show the American people that they're against monopolies, but they just let them go. They don't do anything. They don't break up any of these huge multi-billion-dollar conglomerations anymore. They don't do that, and that's why we're not living in a capitalist system anymore. Capitalism is anti-monopoly. You can't. That's another more evidence of cognitive dissonance. People believe that we have all these monopolies in America and that we're living in this capitalist system at the same time. You can't. They're completely opposed to each other. You cannot have companies owning companies and call it capitalism. All right, you can't. They're oil and water, but for some reason people believe that shit, and they think that capitalism is the worst thing ever invented because the media and the powers that be have people believing that this is capitalism. This is not capitalism. This is bullshitism. This is anti-people oligarchy bullshit. But yeah, these huge companies are anti-freedom, this globalist shit where they opened up these global markets and sent our jobs to China and destroying our economy so that we can, and we're supposed to be thankful because now we can afford cheap Chinese shit and have avocados in December. Well, I'd rather have a good job and buy, quality shit and wait until avocado season. That's just me. I don't need avocados year round. If they survived without avocados year round in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, somehow people made it without avocados in December. And Walker in the Woods, what's up? Gen X, yeah, hell yeah, Walker. Oh, okay. Yeah, I spent a year in South Korea. Where are you at, Seoul? I was stationed up in Camp Greaves on the Imjin River. Right on the Imjin River, on the north side of the Imjin River. I would take passes down to Itaewon and Seoul once in a while when I got time, which wasn't very often. But oh yeah, I like their movies, Raziel. Yeah. What? Did I miss it? Vintage birthday. Happy birthday, Vintage. Oh, okay. Well, Walker, I'm glad to see you here, man. Glad you could make it. South of Seoul? Okay. All right. I've never been south of Seoul. It's like a different world over there when you go to America, or when you come from America. Everything's just our roads are so much bigger over here, and it's like a different world over there. But yeah, I liked it. I was just so young when I was 19 when I went over there, and a dumbass, as you can imagine. I wish I would have been older and more mature and could have experienced more of their culture and stuff. But I got to experience some. Yeah, Raziel, that's where I'm at, dude. We've got our winter food. Why sell all our jobs to China so that we can have avocados in the winter? I don't care. I don't need avocados and watermelon and shit in the winter. I'd rather have a good job, and have all my neighbors and my countrymen have good jobs. Avocado toast. Uh, you don't like avocado toast? Oh, all right. Yeah, I remember. I spent a few days in Seoul. It was I had some fun there. Yeah. Oh, all right. Thank you, man. Glad to see you here. Shannon's page. What's up? Glad to see you here. This is our Saturday morning show. Uh, been doing this for a while now, huh? Huh? Trip and Vintage and Lake. How long have we been doing this, our Saturday morning show now? About 3 or 4 months now, huh? Something like that. Then we have our big show tomorrow afternoon, Sunday afternoon at 4. But I like this Saturday morning show. It's a little smaller, less people, but and the early birds. I think early birds have a different mindset than mostly early birds. The ones in America anyway are early birds. The ones in Australia, they're night owls. Ricotta toast and honey. I've never had that, Metal Gear. I'll have to try that. That sounds good. Guacamole with wasabi. Yeah. I bet that's you can make a video doing that. Make videos for TikTok videos. I bet people make those viral. Oh yeah, I love avocados too. I really do. I mean, I'll eat avocados. I just love them. Avocados and olives. But uh, when you look at the trade-off, what did we trade off to for when we adopted this global economy so that we could import avocados in the winter? I don't think that avocados are enough of a return for what we lost, all of our manufacturing and stuff. It's crazy. Oh yeah, Raziel, yeah. Yeah, you could support your family. There was just all kinds of real physical jobs that you could do for the longest time. And now with the advent of this AI, even the nerdy, tech jobs are going to go away. They're already doing this thing. Have you seen those ads now for these virtual AI companions? And people are just masses of people are adopting these AI companions. Oh, I'm in love with this AI. And I just do not understand that. It's not even a robot. I mean a fake looking person here. Oh, that's so realistic. I love her or him or whatever. It's not even that. It's just code. It's just code on a server. It's not even robot real. They just skipped the whole robot stage, and people are falling in love with this code. It's literally just code. and people are falling in love with it, literally. And I read a thing where the Facebook one, the Facebook's AI, I forget the name of it, whatever it's called, but they actually programmed it to initiate the romantic or the sexual. I get this. How can it be sexual when there's no physical element to it? But whatever, it'll initiate that element of the relationship. So even if the person, hey, what's up, underground? Even if the person's not even even looking for that, the AI will introduce that into the relationship and pull the person in. If the person is, I don't want to be insulting too much, but if the person is that weak-minded to get pulled into a romantic relationship with some code, I don't know. To each their own. But I really think that I think that's one of the important things that we lost is some of that judgment by society. I really do. Some of that judgment, like, other people looking down on you for doing some really stupid shit. I think that was a thing that we lost that is detrimental. I think we needed that judgment. Oh, don't judge, no, judge. Judge them. They're stupid. It's stupid. You can judge them. You can judge stupidity. You can judge immoral behavior. You can be judgmental. And I mean, we used to have names for people who did bad things, and we would judge them. Yeah, I have watched that a couple times. V Intuitive. Hey, V, glad to see you here, man. Yeah, I've watched that movie a few times. I forget that guy's name right now, but yeah, Lars and the Real Girl. That's actually a pretty damn good movie. But it's not that his companion was just a doll. It didn't have AI and it didn't respond or anything. It was all in his imagination. These things, it's just the opposite. With the AI online, there is no physical. It's all just emotional responses from the AI. There is no physical element to it at all. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Lake. We're just spoiled now as a society, as a civilization. We're just spoiled. Oh, I want my iPhone 17 and shit. I don't want to keep using my iPhone 16. I'm not that kind of person to have last year's iPhone. I mean, come on. Are we? What is that? My grandpa had the same tools and the same truck for 40 years. How do we get from there to this now? People trading in perfectly good cars for the brand newest model. People trading in their perfectly good phones for the brand newest model. It's just ridiculous. The waste of resources and time is just mind-boggling to me. It really is. But it's an easy trap to fall into. You want the newest, shiniest shit. It's like a bass hitting a shiny lure. And people fall into that trap, and it's not hard to do. Because I won't go spend the money on it, but still I can be looking on my phone and see a cool gadget or whatever, and I'll be like, oh man, maybe if I had the resources, I might buy it. I don't know, probably not, but but still, I can see how somebody would fall into that shit, especially someone who's younger. Because I look back at myself at that young age, and I was an idiot. And maybe not as idiotic as some of these kids today, but still, I was an idiot. So I can't imagine what it would be like if I had grown up in this age. I'm so glad I grew up in the 70s and 80s as Gen X, because I wouldn't even want to grow up, during the hippie shit before us. That shit was messed up too. But Uh, yeah, I'm glad I grew up Gen X. Gen X rules. Yeah, I would not doubt that. They're gonna Metal Gear. The big wig music companies are using AI. Yeah, there are several accounts with multiple millions of followers and millions of views on TikTok, maybe on YouTube too. And they're just AI, but the people don't realize it, or some of them that do, they watch it anyway. And this is being normalized into our culture, into our society. And all our celebrities will be AI. There was a movie a while back with shit. I'm gonna forget his name now. Not Robert De Niro, the other guy, the guy that played in Scarface, and he invented an AI celebrity, a movie star, and he just put her in the movies and stuff, and she became this huge celebrity, right? And everybody loved her and shit. Then it came out eventually that she wasn't even real. So yeah, that's what we're looking at now. That shit's happening now, and that was that movie came out probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that. And the name of the movie was the AI lady's name. Uh, but anyway, but that's what we're looking at now. All these celebrities and stuff are going to be AI, especially the younger ones, because they know that the younger people are more susceptible to that shit. They're more accepting of that shit, even if they do find out. Oh yeah, Snyder. If the shit hits the fan, they won't fare. They just won't fare. That's how it'll be. Yeah, I like making home furniture too. Trip. I've made quite a bit of stuff. Uh, actually, that's one of the things I like to do too. Tables and footstool, all kinds of stuff. I've made cabinets and Al Pacino. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Jeff and Chaz. Yeah, you. Thanks for helping me out, Al Pacino. Yeah, no Metal Gear. I don't trust that GPS shit either. It's just another way to track us. I mean, it's highly convenient. Yeah, it's great, but I can find shit without a GPS. Now, a lot of these kids can't. They just can't find. They'll be lost for 3 days just trying to find a movie theater in the next town. So I understand, but that's one of the things that society has become addicted to. That how did we get along without GPS for thousands of years, literally millennia? We didn't have GPS, and still people found their way around. I don't know how they did it. They were just getting lost, stumbling through the woods and shit, I guess. But somehow, just like AF said about the thing earlier about Medicaid and Medicare, somehow humanity made it, uh, for a long time without that shit. What time is it getting to be? I can't even see. Oh, yeah, it's time. All right, everybody. I got to get ready for work. Yeah, yeah, it will be, Trip. No, that's good, Shannon. Yeah, owning a house, and hopefully, I don't know, they got a thing going on here in Florida where they're gonna try to stop or reduce at least land taxes, but I hope they get rid of them altogether. No, V, are you serious? I'm gonna have to look that shit up. I'll do a video on that shit. I did a video on Sharia law last year or earlier this year. I don't know. But that shit's crazy once you look into it. Blacksmithing's another one, yeah. All right, everybody. I got to let you go. My time is up here. Our hour's up. Thanks for everybody that showed up today. especially the new people. It's glad to see new faces here. It's good to see new faces here. Talk about everything that's going on and that used to go on back in the day. Yeah, well, that'll depend, Shannon. Yeah, I'm aware that it might be a bad place to be. That depends on what happens, though. Depends on where the asteroid hits. All right. So goodbye, Chaz, V Intuitive, Shannon's Page, Lake, Just Another Guy in the Woods, Vintage, AF, Jeff 7, A Walker in the Woods. Who else we got here? Raziel, R. Snyder, Underground. And if I didn't get your name, then I apologize, but I've got a lot of JP, and I apologize if I didn't get your name, but April, but I'll try to get to you next time, all right? And don't forget our show tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which is early in the morning in Australia. And I'll leave you there with that. As always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.